Hey guys, JP here. Today, pag-usapan natin, do we really need to get life insurance? If you want to know the reasons why you don't need life insurance, please stay tuned until the end of this video. Welcome to another video of 1%. In this channel, we give tips and talk about how to improve ourselves daily by at least 1% for us to reach our fullest potential and be a blessing not just to ourselves and our families but also to all the people around us. Ano nga ba talaga ang life insurance? Basically, ang life insurance is a way for us to protect ourselves from the uncertainties of life. So, ito rin yung same reason kung bakit, for example, we are living in a house, bakit tayo may door lock, bakit tayo may fire extinguisher, bakit tayo nagpapakabit ng CCTVs. It's the same reason kung bakit you lock your door at night because ayaw mong pasukin. Having a door lock will at least give you that confidence and security na walang pwedeng pumasok sa bahay mo nang hindi inaasahan or uninvited. It's also the reason kung bakit you have a fire extinguisher na just in case a fire breaks out in your house, you have something to extinguish the fire. Life insurance is basically a safety net, no? Because we all know that we have a natural course in life. Being born, katrabaho tayo, magkakapamilya tayo, after living for 80, and we will continue to take the natural course of its life, which is eventually to pass away. Actually, maraming hindi nakaka-realize, but insurance is an asset creation tool. No, it is what allows us to have that asset kahit na wala pa sa atin yon. For example, I have a family, I have a wife, I have 2 kids. If something happens to me, gusto kong sabihin or gusto kong i-claim na just in case something happens to me, iiwanan ko kayo, for example, ng 10 million pesos. So, if you want the same for your family, ang question ko is, gusto mo bang ipunin mag-isa yung 10 million? Because if you plan to save 100,000 pesos a month, mathematically, it would take you 100 months para makapag-save ng 10 million pesos. And 100 months is equivalent to almost 9 years. So, or would you want na someone else will create that 10 million for you and ikaw, ang aalalahanin mo lang is to invest in paying that 10 million that was created for you. And it's what we call premium. It is the amount that you pay para yung 10 million will be created today. So just in case something happens to you tomorrow, yung 10 million goes automatically to your loved ones and family. It's like buying a property. Gusto mong bumili ng bahay. Let's just say the property is also 10 million pesos. What will you need to do if you don't have 10 million to buy that house with cash? Di ba maglo-loan ka? You will put up a down payment or an equity. You will pay 30% probably and 70% ilo-loan mo sa bangko. Dito, kailangan mo ng 3 million to at least claim ownership of the house. Because the 70% will be shouldered temporarily by the bank. Yung 70% na yun, kailangan mo ring bayaran yun over time for you to claim full ownership of the house. So, life insurance is also like that. Pero, ang life insurance, if something happens to you, for example, today, and you only paid like, for example, 1 year worth of premium, yung 10 million will automatically be given to your family. It doesn't happen in real estate. It doesn't happen na, for example, nagbayad ka ng, let's just say, 30% down payment, di ba? And something happens to you tomorrow, the bank will not tell you, sige, sa'yo na yung property, sa'yo na yung bahay. So why do we actually need life insurance? These are the questions to ask yourself if you need life insurance. Is income important to you and your family? May mga tao ka bang nakadepende sa sinasahod mo, sa kinikita mo every month? Are you a breadwinner? If someone is financially dependent on the income that you actually bring in, then you need life insurance for sure. Isa pang question is, malaking kawalan ba if something will happen to you? Malaking kawalan ka ba sa pamilya, financially, if something would happen to you? Let's just say you are your family's ATM, di ba? You go to the ATM to get money, and you are the one that is giving money every month to your family. The question is, what if that ATM breaks down or maging offline? Who will now provide money and cash to your family? Actually, some people, ang tawag dito is love insurance because you do it for the people that you love. Because someone has to keep on living after you die. So the second reason why you need insurance is because of illness. We're not really sure, no, kung magkakasakit tayo, kailan tayo magkakasakit, ano magiging sakit natin. And usually, HMO is never enough. I mean, let's all be thankful, no? If we are employed or we have a business, we have HMOs to cover the basic medical needs. But usually, kulang ang HMO. Because HMO would have a basic coverage of what, 100, 120 to maybe 250, 300,000 max. Ang question is, what if ang maging sakit mo is critical illness? What if your medical expenses or medical confinement will go beyond the HMO limits of 200, 300,000 pesos? What if due to that illness, hindi ka na makapagtrabaho? Income will stop eventually. What if there is not enough money? Will you be able to afford or get the best treatment that you deserve? We also need critical illness protection or health protection because as we all know naman, no, hindi tayo pwedeng umasa sa government to take care of us, especially when we get sick. Retirement is another reason why we all need to prepare and get life insurance. Well, it's not really in the sense that we need life insurance for retirement, no. In a way, you can also relate it to when you get sick untimely, no. For example, if you would get sick now and it will render you unable to work forever, diba? Who's gonna support you? Yun naman untimely retirement because we are forced to retire because of sickness that happens to us. We all know, like for this year, some of us may have been forced into retirement, no? Unfortunately, some people, not just in the Philippines but in the entire world, some were laid off, some companies are downsizing or cutting costs. So the question here is, do we have enough money in the bank, no, to support our daily needs, our monthly needs? Yun yung things that we actually have to ask ourselves. How much do we actually need if we are to retire in the future? As we all know, we cannot also rely on the government. We cannot rely on our SSS to sustain us and provide us the retirement amount that we will truly need every month, no? Siguro ang case in point dito are, some of the senior citizens or the parents, no? And I say this with much love and respect. Unfortunately, there are people that have retired. They forgot about preparing also for retirement. This is actually a fact of life, no? If you have enough money for retirement and, hindi ka dependent on your kids to support you, you have money that can support you all throughout your retirement years, do you realize na yung magulang na may pera, pinag-aagawan ng mga anak? Even if the kids already have their own families, meron silang mga anak, they would love their parents to be with them. And unfortunately, may mga parents na hindi nakapag-prepare for their retirement and some of the kids, hindi naman sa walang choice, but for you to also give back to your parents, you get them and you support them and you allow them to stay with you and support them the best way you can. Pero minsan, ang sinasabi naman, if yung mga parents na hindi nakapag-prepare at walang pera, unfortunately, pinagpapasapasahan naman ng mga anak. As adults, we will also get to that point na we will have our own families to take care of. We will have our own children to raise and support. Hindi naman siya because hindi natin mahal ang parents natin. We just cannot support them as much as we can. Especially if income is limited and expenses are rising. Of course, you can only support them up to your level of income as well. That's why they say, invest early, invest wisely, and invest regularly. You want to prepare for that retirement for a longer time. Maybe say 20, 30 years, no? Instead of you preparing it for 5 years down the road na lang. Invest wisely also because you don't also want to put everything in risky assets or in speculative assets. You also have to determine ano ba yung level of risk na willing kang take, na yung tipong kahit na nag-invest ka dyan, even if the markets would go for a downturn, you can still sleep soundly at night. And invest regularly. This is something that should be part of our habits, no? We all have to invest regularly, set aside, even if a small portion, kahit na you don't follow the 20% formula right away. Invest 5%, 15%, 10%, whatever you are comfortable in setting aside. At the end of the day, this is for your own retirement. So if I may quote 2 Corinthians 12:14, after all, children should not save up for their parents, but parents for their children. And Proverbs 13:22 says, a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but the sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. The fourth reason why you need to prepare and get life insurance is education. Of course, if we have kids, we have that responsibility of setting them up for a bright future. Siyempre, kung meron kang anak, you want to give them the best that you could ever afford, and the basics, the very basics that they need to survive as a person. I think innate naman sa atin as parents, no, na we want to give them more than what we actually got growing up. We want to send them to a better school, better than where we attended. We have to support our children in all their dreams. No? Let's just say, hindi matapos ang education nila at age 21 because they want to go for further studies. What if they want to become doctors, they want to become lawyers? That would take additional 4 or 6 years attending school beyond college. We don't have a very good public school system in the Philippines. No? There are only a couple of good public schools in the Philippines. Unfortunately, money has to buy quality for this scenario. But at the end of the day, of course, I say this again with much love and respect. I'm not saying that public schools are inferior to private schools. Siyempre, at the end of the day, it is really in our child's discipline and character to make the most out of the opportunities that we will provide them. And parents, of course, we just want to provide them the best that we can afford. So it's the same approach. Let's just say, for example, case in point, if you have a child who will be entering college 4 years from now, or let's just say 2 years from now, would you want to prepare for it for the next 2 years? Or would you rather have a longer time to prepare, like let's just say 10, 15 years? So ito basically yung mga purposes of getting life insurance. If there's untimely demise, we will give money to your family. If you will suffer a critical illness, we will give you money to support you, to support your medical expenses, or to even replace the loss of income because of critical illness. If you will retire, we will provide you with the money that you will need for you to enjoy life in your retirement years. And if your child will go to college and attend school, we will provide you with the money that you need for them to send them to the best schools that you could afford. So ngayon, ano ba yung reasons why you don't need life insurance? And again, I will say this with much love and respect for everyone. Unang-una, hindi mo kailangan ng life insurance kung hindi ka kawalan kahit kanino. Meaning, walang magsasuffer financially kung mawala ka as a breadwinner or as a provider. No? Second, you don't need life insurance if you don't care that someone has to live even after you die.
You're old.
Also, you don't need life insurance if sigurado ka that you will be working until your last breath. And for sure, hindi mo kailangan ng life insurance if immortal ka.
That's it for me.
So bakit hindi mo kailangan ng critical illness protection? For one, sigurado ka na hindi ka magkakasakit. Second, maybe sigurado ka that when you pass away, you will pass away in your sleep. You don't need critical illness protection because sure ka that your job or your business hindi mo suffer even if magkasakit ka, even with a terminal illness. And sure ka na even magkasakit ka of a terminal illness or of an illness, your family won't be affected because your income will continue to come in. You don't need critical illness if you probably own a hospital that will cover all your medical expenses. You have access to the best doctors. You don't have to pay for them, and you have access to, or probably you own a pharmaceutical company because your medication will be provided for. And you don't need critical illness protection or illness protection if sigurado ka that the government will support all your medical expenses. Why you don't need to prepare for retirement? Because meron kang well of money, no? Meron kang deep well na punong-puno ng pera that you can just put down your bucket and it will come up with lots of money.
I am the chosen one.
You don't need retirement because you can actually afford for the rest of your life. Kahit na 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, even 90 years old, if you can still work, you don't need retirement planning. You don't need retirement planning if sure ka that you won't be a burden to your family, no? Even if they have their own family as well and they're raising their own kids. And lastly, again, you don't need retirement planning if you are sure and confident the government wherever you are in or in whatever country you are in will take care of all your retirement needs. You don't need to plan for education because obviously you don't have any kids or you don't plan to have any kids at all. And probably sigurado ka that your kids will be scholars for the rest of their schooling years. So again, thank you for watching this video. I hope I was able to speak some sense and to educate you on why people actually need to get life insurance. For whatever comments that you may have, please feel free to comment down below. And if you find this video useful, please hit that like button, and also please subscribe in our channel, and please hit that bell button para we could notify you of our upcoming videos. And also, if you are in Facebook, please ipaki-like yung page namin, which is the Abundant One. In the same page, we will provide tips on how we could all improve 1% at least daily. Thank you for watching. This is 1%, and see you in our next video. Why you don't need to prepare for money?